Yo guys, before we start the video I have a little thing to announce because recently I've started my own Patreon page. And for the viewers who are interested in seeing my Patreon page, there is a link in the description. But Patreon is basically a way for the viewers who would like to support me financially to do just that. It obviously makes it easier for me to dish out content as well if I get that kind of support, but don't feel obligated to become a member of my Patreon. I obviously don't expect anything in return for making these kind of videos, especially not from you guys. You watching my videos is already more than enough. Just letting you know it's out there. There are a few benefits though for becoming a member of my Patreon. One of the benefits is basically you'll get to see what I'm using in my videos, because I'll leave Poke-based links on my Patreon page. For example, this is the Magma Storm Protect team that I used a few weeks ago. If you click on this, you basically get the Poke-paste. Here is the team that you're about to see, and there are basically more teams on my Patreon, also teams that I haven't used yet. And yeah, I also do team building support for members of my Patreon. I have some Discord benefits. Just check it out guys, link in the description. But without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Yo, what's up guys, my name is AFC Adinho and I have a little new video for you guys. This will be a little team building video-ish, but more team preview, because I was using this team on ladder. Been playing around it because I really wanted to use Thundurus-T because I think it looks really cool, and I really wanted to make it work. So I've built a team real quick, and I wanted to play it on sand, so I'm using Tyranitar. This is a choice band of Tyranitar, so it's not smooth rock, but it's choice band. Basically wall breaking for Thundurus with strong crunches and stone edges, and obviously the pursuit to trap things. We use Fire Punch. Don't really think I'm going to need Ice Punch because Thundurus has Hidden Power Rise, and Tangrowth, as you can see later, has Hidden Power Rise as well. So I went with Fire Punch, one hit KOing Ferrothorn with a choice band, if you have a choice band. And also our Channeler switch in because we're using an Assault Vest Tangrowth. Not really the best matchup for Channeler. So Tyranitar being able to switch into that as well. Also Hydreigon. And then we have Excadrill with it should be Sandrush. Sandrush Excadrill, my bad guys. I'm using leftovers instead of Life Orb, just because I'm using an Adamant Nature and I don't really think I'm going to need his damage that much. It's more his speed, him being able to outspeed pretty much everything in sand is really nice. So you can basically revenge kill things. And with Adamant Nature as well, we have 405 attack, so even without a Life Orb, we're going to do a lot of damage. So I'm using leftovers instead and give it Rapid Spin. It's going to be my Rapid Spinner. Actually a really cool spinner, I feel. Because we can keep Excadrill healthy because we have a Clefable with Wish. I'll talk about Clefable in a second, but he can Rapid Spin against Amoonguss, because Excadrill forces a lot of switches, so you can Rapid Spin on those turns. And Stealth Rocks is not even bothering Excadrill that much because it's resisted. So in my battles I was able to Rapid Spin a lot of times. I'm also using Toxic because we're using Sandrush Excadrill. Could run Rock Slide as well, or Swords Dance if you really want to, but I have Toxic because Excadrill forces in or baits in a lot of Rotoms. Being able to hit the Rotom on the Toxic and also defensive Landorus's being able to catch them with a toxic and then walling them with one of our walls. It's also really nice. But yeah, that's basically the Excadrill. Since we're using Excadrill and Tyranitar, team will obviously be really weak to Conkeldurr. So I kind of wanted something that could switch into the Conkeldurr and force it out, or surprise it rather, or kill it. And yeah, not a lot of Pokemon came in mind. So I kind of, because if I went with something like Landorus, Hippowdon, then my team becomes really water weak, ice weak. So I went with Clefable, and I run 136 speed. So I outspeed every Adamant Conkeldurr, because Adamant Conkeldurr's max speed is 189. So we always outspeed that. And then we put 252 points into defense to tank physical attacks as good as possible. Since with this spread, 120 points into HP to support the defense that we invested in. But with this spread, we can kind of switch into Conkeldurr, take a hit. They see leftovers, and they probably think they can 2-hit KO you with Facade, and then we hit that Moonblast and do more than 80% to them. To the point in which they cannot really Drain Punch recover anymore, because Rotom outspeeds and Thundurus resists Mach Punch. And we have Assault Vest Tangrowth, because otherwise the team becomes really weak to Keldeo. Because Keldeo is faster than Thundurus, so it can hit us with Scald. Obviously Tyranitar is gonna die to Secret Sword, and outside of Rain, Excadrill is going to be slower. And Excadrill also doesn't KO Keldeo from full. So we can switch in our Tangrowth against Keldeo. If it's substitute Calm Mind, Tangrowth will 1v1 it, because you can just Giga Drain spam, recover a lot of health back. If he is Choice Specs and clicks Secret Sword, you can still switch in. And if they Secret Sword, you can then switch in Clefable, also proccing the Regenerator. But Clefable resisting Secret Sword. Set up rocks, go for a Wish. Do something there. And with Rotom, it's a defensive Rotom. I run 88 speed because last time I was playing, or rather before I stopped playing, there were a lot of jolly Credants with Sword Stance after my video, but that's why I kind of wanted to outspeed max speed Jolly Credant. Because if he sets up one Sword Stance, my team gets wiped. So I kind of need something that was faster. Max HP and the rest into defense. Max HP because we also need a check for Tornadus. Being able to resist Hurricane, hit him with Volt Switch. And because Excadrill's the Rapid Spinner, we can run Will-O-Wisp on Rotom, burning Amoonguses, Ferrothorns, burning other physical offensive Pokemon, and then being able to Pain Split as well to keep Rotom healthy. So yeah, basically a bulky offensive Sand team with Thundurus as the main sweeper. This team will kind of struggle against offensive wall breakers, especially physical wall breakers, because our main physical walls are Clefable and Rotom, which don't have the best defensive stats. Like Rotom does have a nice defense, but his HP is kind of meh. Clefable has a pretty nice HP stat, but his defense stat is pretty meh. So physical wall breakers like Bandit Terrakion, Bandit Diggersby, Bandit Azumarill maybe. Bisharp is a really big one. If Bisharp gets up an SD, you can kill Thundurus with Sucker Punch. Excadrill might actually live depending on the item. And Rotom gets 1-hit KO'd by knockoff. Clefable if Clefable hits Moonblast and he gets special attack drop, Bishop is gonna destroy this team. So then our main way will kind of be Tangrowth. So that's also a big one. But yeah, offense overall will be really scary since we don't have a real physical wall. The more defensive the opponent gets, the easier it will actually become. Just because Tangrowth doesn't really die to stall. They can poison him, but with Regenerator you can keep him healthy enough. Clefable's Magic Guard, so they can never poison him. They can they can poison him, but we don't take any damage. And we can Wish around, keeping everything healthy. Excadrill is basically there to always check Unaware Clefable. And we have Toxic as well, maybe on some predictions. And Bandit Tyranitar is also a big one. Because the combination Stone Edge and Crunch can break Stall. Because Stone Edge is going to do a lot to a Clefable. But Crunch, if Clefable is not the switch, Crunch can also do a lot of damage. And after you knocked off everything, Rocky Helmets and stuff, then Crunch becomes spammables. Because you don't have to worry about Rocky Helmets. And getting that defense drop might just mean that you get a kill. Yeah, to cover the physical defensive weakness, physical wall breaks, you could go for a physical defensive Tangrowth. That makes it much easier against those wall breakers, but not having that Assault Vest means we are going to lose to Rain. Because with Assault Vest Tangrowth, we have a pretty good matchup against Rain. Because Tangrowth pretty much walls everything aside from Hurricanes, from either Tornadoes or Dragonite. And we have Tyranitar to remove opposing Rain, get up the Sandstorm. And Thundurus hitting water types and such with strong stab Thunderbolts. Having that Incinerate for Ferrothorns, who are often on Rain teams. So our matchup against Rain is not that bad, but the more offensive the opponent gets, the more difficult it will kind of become. And that is basically the team. So if you are interested in seeing more teams, I have a lot of teams shown in my Patreon. Check it out, link in the description. Let's hop right into the battle, guys, with this team. Yo, what is up, guys? My name is AFC Adino, and I got a game for you guys using this Thundurus team with Sand. This game should be fun. Looking at my opponent's team, I can definitely put in a lot of work with my Thundurus because I have HPIs for Gliscor, and I resist everything from Thundurus, the Hurricane. But I feel like Tangrowth in this game is a pretty good lead. I can pretty much knock off anything. He leads off with the Ferrothorn. Let's just knock this off. That way he can never recover against me. He goes for the knockoff himself. It's not the biggest deal. I don't have any Pokemon that Tangrowth needs to wall specially wise. But now Stealth Rocks or Spikes might be coming out. Going into my Clefable, because I don't care about the knockoff, but if he gets up rocks, I want rocks up as well. Since he has a Tornadus which gets pressured by rocks. He could knock off here. It's not a big deal, because I've Rotom for the Azumarill. Rotom going to be really important actually, but he goes into the Gliscor, maybe expecting a Flamethrower. And what I could do is just go into Tangrowth. I've hidden Power Rise. I don't really care if it gets poisoned, like I said before. Doesn't really need to wall anything. He goes for a Raw Facade. Okay, well, I'm going to HP Ice here. He goes for the Swords Dance. I'm pretty sure it still doesn't knock me out, so I get the HP Ice damage off, and I'm going to click Giga Drain here, because they roost usually. That's how you HP Ice first and Giga Drain when you're Tangrowth. And now it's a mind game. Let's see. I'm just gonna HP Ice here. He goes for the Facade actually instead of roosting, so I get the 51. It's a low roll, but now I can spam Giga Drain. So he could switch out here. but that's completely fine. He's basically going to die to my Thundurus. All I need was a bit of damage on the Gliscor, so even if he switches, that's going to be fine. Only thing I really... Well, he has 3 Pokemon I can switch into a Giga Drain. But getting damage off on Ferrothorn is nice. He goes into the Tornadus. And don't think it's a Defogger since he has a Rotom, but it can definitely be a Defogger. Let's see. Rotom is usually a switch, but because it needs to wall the Azumarill, I need it at full HP. So switching it in here is not the play. Cannot afford damage on this, so I'd rather go into my Tyranitar. Because I only need Tyranitar for the Sandstorm so that Excadrill could do something. But he goes for the U-turn. Nice play on his part. Not wanting to risk the Hurricane miss, I guess. And now he could either go into Azumarill, maybe Belly Drum up, or he can go into his Gliscor and Roost up. Because even if I have Ice Punch, I should not be able to knock it out if he Roosts, because he loses his Flying type. Could be wrong. He indeed goes into the Gliscor. And since he's forced to Roost at this point, I could make a bit of an aggressive player. And I can go hard Thundurus. Even though he's rocks up, he's forced to Roost. I've left over, so... And because I know it's Facade, I am going to go for the Nasty Plot, because he didn't Sword Stance yet. So it's going to be an unboosted Facade, which I should be able to take. And at +2, I basically get a kill. And he might even switch out, fearing the HPIs here. So I'm curious to see how he plays this, because Thundurus is can definitely open up the way of winning. But he actually goes hard into Azumarill. Yeah, probably expecting an HPIs. But I am at +2 now. I'm still going to T-Bolt because Aqua Jet should not knock me out. I did the cogs when I built for Thundurus. So a Bandit Aqua Jet should not kill me, and if he is Belly Drum, there's no way he's killing me even if he crits me. And getting rid of this means that it's going to relieve a lot of pressure from my Rotom, because then I can use my Rotom to wall the Tornadus. So I'll just click Thunderbolt. He goes for Aqua Jet, and that is probably Belly Drum damage. So we get rid of the Azumarill. I still have my Thundurus in. Cobalion needs something like Stone Edge to kill me. I don't think Close Combat kills me. Iron Head obviously neither. Hurricane should not kill me from Tornadus if he's not Life Orbed. And after Stealth Rocks, I should be able to knock out a physical defense at Rotom. And I obviously HPIs the Gliscor. Actually goes into Rotom here. If he's at full HP, it should be a roll. But if he is maxed if he took Stealth Rocks damage, he should die to Thunderbolt. So we just click it. Getting rid of the Rotom feels good, man. Also Sandstorm gone, so I get some extra Leftovers recovery. And my opponent gives up. So we got a Thundurus clean up there. Pretty sure Thundurus could have closed out the game like that. Well, Cobalion could maybe have lived the hit, got some chip off. And then I would be in the range of Tornadus. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe.